So it turns out that this big finale to the challenge quests is a two-parter. And since this first part exclusively features assassins, I thought it'd be high time I brought out one of my favorite team comps, the single-target Arts Blitzer, featuring Media. Now, because everyone here is a caster, I thought we'd play a little game. Let's just sit back for a minute and grab some nuts and count just how many times they whip out a Noble Phantasm, shall we? Oh, and don't worry, I'll help you.
You win!
So yeah, just took a lot of patience, but we got there. See, I actually sped the footage up to twice the original speed, so you can imagine how long it took us to get here in real time. Yeah, not worth showing all that. Alright, so we finally made it to the final round. I'll admit, just before this, I put together a team comp that was absolutely laughable. It was complete brute force, and I cheesed it. And funny enough, I almost made it all the way. I brought him down to like a couple tens of thousand HP, and distractingly enough, you'll notice that for some reason during this fight, the one that actually I decided to keep and use for this recording, a lot of people decided they wanted to send me alerts on my phone. Very distracting, but alas, I wasn't gonna, like, turn off the fight and then switch off banners and get distracted. I'm like, no, you know what, I'm just gonna push forward, because I know how to beat this guy. And that was, now, actually, I should mention first how I cheesed it. I completely cheesed that first match I told you about. Not the one you saw with, like, Media and such. I'm talking, I had this funky team put together for Dante's, just to see if it would work, just to see if you could throw anyone together and beat this guy. Alas, that was not the case, because what you're seeing here is a very compact team, a very well-oiled unit of Narrow Bride, Tamamo, and Waver. And of course I would choose Waver, because Waver he brings everything to the table. He is the ultimate support until Merlin. And even then, he's still, like, the ultimate support, because he still has stuff that Merlin doesn't give, so... Anyway, point is... No, we're not doing that gag anymore. You can settle down with the dings, and you're not counting. We're not counting NPs anymore. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway, about this first team comp I tried. It had characters like, it was set up like Beowulf with Kaleidoscope, Waver. I think this same Waver, in fact, that I'm using now. And it had Skahak in back row with, like, Black Grail. It had somebody else. It had a bunch of... The idea was it had a bunch of NPs I was going to fire off at this man. Like, but that did not work. And like I said, I got him down to, I think, somewhere around 70,000 HP, I think it was. I could not take this man. No, it was 50,000, because I remember that, because I had to make a quick chain, because it was literally the best thing I could do, and then I died. He killed everyone. He NP'd them to death. But anyway, one thing I did take away from it, though, was that this man hits like a truck. He really does. Now, granted, that is very accurate to his attack stat overall. His attack stat alone would tell you he's gonna hit like a truck, but really, as a boss character, I feel like he's even worse. I don't know, I just get that sneaking suspicion. Or maybe what it is, because you're so used to dealing with boss characters that have like 500,000 HP, for example, and this man will casually, in fact, like, with one hit, deal like 10,000 HP on, like, say like a Buster or something like that. I guess when it's flipped around, it's like, oh, right, yeah, Edmond Dantes is the fourth most powerful, just in terms of raw strength, of any servant in the game, like, period, right now. Even after Ku Alter appears and Jean Alter appears, he'll be fourth power. In fact, right now he's the second strongest, because we only have Sakata Kintoki. I'm so used to saying Sakata because that's so much easier to say than Sakata Kintoki, or just Kintoki, whatever. But anyway, I'm sorry if I'm not doing a complete play-by-play of everything that's happening. It's a very tight situation here, and I'm trying to make every move count. I don't want to be wasteful. I want to do things at the exact right time that they need to happen. And so far, it's definitely pulling through. Even though they were... not they, it's one guy. Right. Even though Avenger here, the Count of Monte Cristo, he was bullying Tamamo at first, but then he ultimately decided he wanted to shift gears to Narrow Bride, and I was like, either one is bad that he would dare aim for them, but actually, really, considering his attack potency, really, it's okay. So here, I realize I can't stall him any longer. This is very important that I play-by-play here. I realize I can't stall him any longer, so I'm like, alright, you know what? That's why I put David in the back row, because David, I'm telling you guys, this man, at least until Merlin, and maybe even after Merlin, he is invaluable, at least to your back row, because if you put the plug suit with this, if you put on the plug suit with this man in the back row, I swear to you, he is going to come in handy so many times. Indeed, Chaldea Gurus, you should see how he is when he has some grails on him. Now, granted, he's talking about Hans there, but whatever, you know, David, you know, you could grail David. See what happens. But no, like, David is fantastic with that second skill, and he grants Charisma, double the reason to bring him out right now. Because he's going to power up Narrow. And ultimately, you might think, like, oh, why not go for the two busters you just saw? And I wanted critical stars, because I realized there's no way we're going to finish him in this one attack, like, with the NP and her string of hits afterwards. There's no way. There's no way he's going to die. So I'm like, let's think of the future. That's basically, like, every move I try to make here. I tried really hard to think of the future. But again, it's kind of unpredictable because this man hits like a truck. He hits so hard. If he decides to hit anyone twice, they're pretty much dead. Seriously. Unless he goes for, like, double quick. But he's been throwing around a lot of his buster attacks, so... But I'm really stacking that defense down on this man. I just realized, I'm like, oh, yes. Okay, so that's nice to see. But we still got 200,000, and he could easily come back. And, of course, I'm not going to use unreturning formation yet, because I want to get the charge down. So that's floating there, and I'm like, man, I hope he doesn't kill Waver somehow. I hope he doesn't kill anybody somehow. I know I could have actually used his first skill, Waver's first skill, to charge Narrow Bride right to 100, probably. No, actually, no, it would not have, because it would have gotten her to, like, 86 or something like that. That's right. And I realized, I'm like, what's even the point? If she can actually... I would be wasting the skill if I... Anyway, yeah, I would be wasting the skill if I'd done it there. That's the point I'm trying to make. But here I'm like, alright, you know what? He's got his charge now. Let's throw as many NPs at him as possible. But I realize, I'm like, no. Don't do Waver first. I'm so used to doing Waver first, but no, don't do him first, because if I get his overcharge up at all, it'll increase his debuffs, and I think even his chance to stun. I think that's a thing, because the charge gain is no matter what, and the curse is no matter what, but all the other things, even the amount of curse, it increases with overcharge. Like, everything increases with overcharge, so... Booyah works perfectly. And then, of course, Narrow Bride last. And Narrow Bride, she even grants debuffs, and she's at 300% now. So her debuffs are even going to skyrocket thanks to this. And she does a massive amount of damage, about 100,000 right there. And things are looking pretty grim for this man. But I still have to be careful, because he could throw a wrench in my plan at any moment. He could kill us all. Who knows? And Narrow, man, one good hit and she's down. That and every hit is neutral to him. So that doesn't help either. But, here's the thing. He decides to double hit my support Waver. And I'm like, and then after that I use his Wisdom of Crisis and I'm like, boo-yah! Check and mate, and Mash swoops and she's like, hey guys, you need help? And Narrow is just like, ah yes, perfect timing, Mash. Especially with that Buster card. Wha-bam! Perfect. Everything worked out. Not a single member of my own team died. I never count the support. I never count the support when it comes to my servants dying. I always just count my own teammates, because they're the ones who get Bond EXP. And nobody died. Amazing. So, thank you all for sticking through with me to these 7 doors, up to this tower, and I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Thank you.